Good evening to all. Welcome to the session. Good evening to all. Welcome to the session. This session is all about 200 grammar rules. Yesterday you got four grammar rules, and today you're going to get four more. As I said, every day four grammar rules. That way, in a week you get about 4 into 5, Monday to Friday, you're going to get 20 rules. And a month you get 20 into 4, 80 rules. And for about 2.5 months, I'll be doing this. You're going to get almost all the rules which are very important from the exam point of view. Today there is no introduction. I gave the introduction yesterday. Today we'll go straight to the rules. As I said, you got four rules yesterday. Today we'll start with rule number 5. This rule goes with collective nouns. Now, yesterday someone asked me, so why don't you give the concept? Then I said, if I give the concept, then it becomes a regular class. Still, to be a little considerate, I will give the concept in a nutshell, in brief. I will not elaborate so that either you can recollect or you can learn. Now, when we talk about nouns, we have two types of nouns according to one classification: proper nouns, common nouns. Common nouns, again, two types: collective nouns, abstract nouns. And exam point of view, you don't have to learn everything. Some certain things are important, certain things are not important. And when I say this is important, you may wonder, you can ask also, sir, on what basis you can say this is important, this is not important? After analyzing the previous year's papers and the patterns, then based on that I say this is important, this is not important. So when I say something is important, I mean it is important. Exam point of view, do remember. Now, collective noun, what is a collective noun? When you take persons or things together and speak of persons or things one as one unit, that is known as a collective noun. So what is a collective noun? You take either persons or things and you speak of them as one unit. I emphasize one unit, then it is known as a collective noun. Here, I would like to tell you guys something very important. What is that? Yesterday also I said, when it comes to English grammar, we have academic grammar, we have grammar for competitive exams. You don't have to read academic grammar, not at all relevant from competitive exams point of view. You have to learn from competitive exams point of view. That is very important. So here, if you take a school grammar book, a typical school grammar book, for collective nouns, you have a lot of examples, but they are not going to give in the exam. Exam point of view, certain examples, collective nouns, they're very important. What are they? Committee, jury, team, staff, family, group. These examples, especially committee, jury, team, staff, they have been using in different competitive exams. They have given questions. So you got the concept, what a collective noun is. Let us go to the rule. Rule number 5, related to collective nouns. Because it is considered one unit, a collective noun usually takes a singular verb and a singular pronoun. At the outset, what is the rule that goes with a collective noun? Because we take persons or things and we speak of them as one unit, they take a singular verb, a singular pronoun. Look at the examples. The committee was unanimous in its opinion. Here, was in green color, singular verb, its opinion, its pronoun, singular form. The team has visited the rainforest. Team, collective noun, singular verb, has visited. These are not important from the exam point of view. As I said, yesterday also I said, there are rules in English, there are exceptions. In the exam, they may ask questions based on exceptions. Now let us go to rule number 5. What still with the rule number 5? What is it? However, if we talk about individual members or lack of unity among them, they take a plural verb and a plural pronoun. Now, usually collective nouns take a singular noun, a singular verb, singular pronoun. But we talk about the members. Collective noun means members are there: committee, jury, team, staff, all these. We talk about individual members, or we talk about lack of unity, some sort of division among them. Then the same collective noun takes a plural verb and a plural pronoun. Now, look at this example. The committee were divided in their stand. Were divided. What is a clue for you? Divided. Divided, it talks about there's no unity. Because there's no unity, we have to use a plural verb, a plural pronoun. How do they ask the question in the exam? They may give a question. In fact, they have given many a time. The committee was divided in its opinion. There are two errors. The committee was is not correct. It should be the committee were divided in its opinion, not correct in their opinion. So this is an important one. And I would like to show some more examples because it's an important rule. The special jury is still in the court. Now, I hope you guys are listening very carefully. The special jury is still in the court. Here we are talking about jury as one unit, so singular verb. The special jury are still debating the issue. Debate, discussion. That means no unity. Here the verb changes. Is changes to are. The special jury is still in the court, singular verb. The special jury are still debating the issue. Because there is no unity, there is division. In the second example, we have to use the plural verb. The third example, they have given in so many exams. The team of two Indian scientists, three American scientists, has visited the rainforest. Now, how do they ask the question in the exam? How do they give the question? The team of two Indian scientists and three American scientists have visited the rainforest. Now, what happens? Students focus on Indian scientists, American scientists, the nouns are in the plural form. So they think have visited the rainforest. They think the sentence is correct and they go for the fifth option. What is the fifth option? No error, but there is an error. What is the subject here? Team. Team is a collective noun. It is considered singular. Based on that, we have to say the team of two Indian scientists and three American scientists has visited the rainforest. Has visited. That is correct. And this goes with subject verb agreement as well. So this is a first rule I have just explained. If you have a question, you could ask me regarding rule number 5. I will wait for a few minutes, a few seconds. Not we can't afford to wait for minutes. If you have a question regarding this, please ask now itself. I hope it's clear. Now, rule number 6. Nouns, plural nouns, singular nouns, plural nouns. And what is rule number 6? When the plural noun is a proper name or proper noun for some single object or some collective unit, it must be followed by a singular verb. This is also very important. This is also very important. Here it talks about a proper name for some single object, but it is in the plural form, or a collective unit, proper name, it is in the plural form. Still, we have to use a singular verb. This has been given in many exams. What is the example? The Arabian Nights. This is a title of a book. Single unit, book single unit. What is the title? The Arabian Nights. Arabian Nights, it is in the plural form, but we have to use a singular verb. What is the reason? It is a proper name. Though it is in the plural form, it belongs to one unit. So we have to say the Arabian Nights is still very popular. That is correct. The United States, collective unit. United States, it is in the plural form, but we have to use a singular verb. The United States has a big air force. We should not say have. We have to say has a big air force. The book related, many a time they have given. The first example, the Arabian Nights is still very popular. Remember that example. Regarding rule number 6, if you have a question, you ask me. I will wait for a few seconds. Rule number 5, someone says, Bhavana says, no doubt, sir. And rule number 6, if you have a doubt, please ask. I want you guys to be very alert and try to shoot the doubt immediately. Ask the question immediately. That way we can save time. No doubt. Very good. Ishwar. Ishwar. Now, rule number 7. Again, plural noun. When a plural noun denotes some specific quantity or amount considered to be a whole, the verb is generally singular. This is also very important. 10 minutes. Here, 10 minutes a plural noun, but we consider that one unit, a whole. Based on that, we should use a singular verb. 10 minutes is allowed for each student. 10 minutes is allowed for each student, not are allowed. 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers, plural form, but it is considered a whole. Based on that, we should use a singular verb. We have to say 5 kilometers is a long walk. 5 kilometers is a long walk. So this goes with the time, distance, weight, or currency, all these. Even this is an important rule. So what is this a rule? When we look at a plural noun, always don't think we have to use a plural verb. When a plural noun denotes some specific quantity or amount considered as a whole, one unit, then the verb should be in the singular form. Now let us go to rule number 8. If you have a question, you ask me regarding rule number 7. Thanks for joining. Who is this? Oh, fine. Now let us go to rule number 8. Uncountable nouns. First one, collective noun. Second one, plural noun. Third one also, plural noun. I'm talking about today. And the fourth one, that means rule number 8, uncountable nouns. Again, according to one more classification, there are so many classifications when it comes to types of nouns. We have countable nouns, uncountable nouns. Something you can count, countable noun. Something you cannot count. Can you count sugar? Can you count honey? No, these are uncountable. Can you count gold? Uncountable. So this rule goes with uncountable nouns. The following nouns are usually uncountable in English, but in our languages they are countable. Because in our languages they are countable, in our country, a lot of students or those who use English, they try to use an article before these nouns. Now, what is the rule number 8? The following nouns are usually uncountable in English. What are the examples? News, information, furniture, luggage, scenery. And what is a rule that goes with these nouns? We should not use these nouns with a or an, that is one thing. And in the plural form, we cannot use. We cannot say informations, that is not correct. We cannot say luggages, not correct. We cannot say sceneries, not correct. So there are two dimensions here. One, we should not use a or an before these uncountable nouns. Second one, they cannot be used in the plural form. Now let us have a look at a few examples. A lot of people say, he gave me an advice. Wrong. He gave me advice, or he gave me a piece of advice. First one is wrong. Whatever is in red, it is wrong. He gave me an advice. Wrong. They have given in so many exams. He gave me a piece of advice. The sceneries are beautiful. Again, not correct. Scenery cannot be used in the plural form. What is the correct expression? The scenery is beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. So remember, even these are very important. So people are interested. It is depends. Sometimes students ask me, sir, can we use the word people in the plural form? Usually it is singular form and it takes a plural verb. People of that particular region are suffering a lot. People of that particular region are suffering. We don't say is, are suffering a lot. And people, a lot of students have a fixed idea. What is that? They think people, always people, it cannot be peoples. But you can use the word people in the plural form. English has rules, English has exceptions. Then you may ask, so in which context we say peoples? Different areas, different countries. Then you can say peoples of different countries. That is acceptable. So this is all about the four rules: 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have a question, please ask. If you don't have a question, we'll go to questions from previous year's papers, 20 questions. You have to read the sentence, spot the error. Based on that, I will respond. I will tell the rule behind. People is used to denote a particular country. Could be a country, could be a region, could be a state, could be an administrative unit. There's no restriction as such. If you take people of India, then you have to say Indians, people of America, Americans. So it depends. It could be a region, it could be a state, it could be a country. Now let us go to Aman says no doubts. Fine, wonderful. As I said, I would like to show this slide every day. What is the reason? Based on my experience, I've seen a lot of students, they learn a lot, but they don't focus much on consolidation. When it comes to competitive exams, consolidation of whatever you learn is very important. How do you consolidate? You have to practice a lot. And also, any competitive exam, before you take the exam, you have to see the previous year's papers. Only then you understand how they ask the questions. You understand the standards, and you can ask yourself, am I ready for the exam? So never neglect questions from previous year's papers. Now let us go to question number one. It is your turn. Now it is you have to respond. Someone has been asking, sir, please provide a PDF for this session. You have to wait for 1 or 2 days. I'm not quite sure whether I can provide the PDF or not. Please wait for 1 or 2 days. Once I get clarity, I will, if I can provide, I will definitely provide, beyond any doubt. I don't lose anything by providing the PDF, but I'm waiting for some clarity. It may take 2 or 3 days. Based on that, I will get back to you. Please read question number one and tell me where the error is. If we have no definite aim before us, we would only wander about in aimless pursuits and achieve nothing. Who is this? So Aman has responded immediately. You're right. Let others also respond. No, answer is there is an error in the second part. What is it? It is not the right word. Wander is not correct. It is wander. Wander means what? To go aimlessly, to walk aimlessly, to move aimlessly. What is the correct spelling of that? Wander. That is the right word, not wonder. The word wonder doesn't go with this context. This is what I say. You should have contextual awareness. This talks about if we have no definite aim before us, what happens? You're directionless, rudderless. Then you may go in any direction, and that will not, you cannot achieve anything based on that. Aimless pursuits and achieve nothing. The right word. Now, today I'm going to show first the answer, then what the question is about. This question is about inappropriate word. What is it about? Inappropriate word. That's good. A few students have got it right. Now let us go to question number two. What is the answer? Where is the error? Oh, postponed to next year. Xavier, when did you get this information? Now a lot of exams are getting postponed. No wonder it is not something surprising based on the present scenario, based on the present situation. If you take a right turn, you will find a house built of stone. Very good. Found is not correct. It is find. Vishnuvardhan, Aman, and who else? Bhavana also. That is good. But you should be able to respond. This question is about what? That will consolidate your knowledge. Tell me, what is this question about? Try to answer. Your answer is right. Found is not correct. It is find. If you take a right turn, you will find a house built of stone. If conditional, Nagamaleshwari, very good. But which type of conditional is it? We have broadly three types of conditionals: present conditionals, past conditionals, zero conditionals. Present conditionals, again, two types: open conditionals and hypothetical conditionals. Which one is this? No, it is about a conditional. Which conditional is that? Very good. Vamsi has got it right. It is open conditional. Answer is found is not correct. Find, and it is about open conditional. Now, what is an open conditional? What is a pattern? We use an open conditional to talk about something that is likely to happen. So it is known as probable. Something is probable, but the chances are 50%. And what is a pattern? Any conditional sentence, I'm going to provide the background information, listen very carefully. Any conditional We have two clauses, the main clause, if clause. You have to learn which clause, which tense goes with which clause. When it comes to open conditional, if clause we should use present tense, and main clause we should use future tense. And based on that, you will find that is future. Then the answer is right. Try to recollect and think this way. See, I don't know how many of you think of the question seriously. I know you're quite enthusiastic and very eager to answer the question, but that should be the first thing. And once you answer, go back and try to reflect, ask the question. From this question, what can I recollect? Based on this question, what can I recollect? What else can I learn? The moment you say, yes, it is not found, it is find. Immediately, back of your mind, you should know, oh, this is related to conditional sentences, and this example goes with open conditional. In open conditional, we use present and future. Then you're ready for the exam. Everything is at your fingertips. Moonlight, the Moonlight, who is this? Nagamaleshwari, Vishnuvardhan, who else? Private working aspirant. Only Moonlight is not correct. It should be in the moonlight, not a moonlight. It's a standard phrase. Dinner in the moonlight. I went to see the Taj Mahal in the moonlight, not a moonlight. It should be the moonlight. So, what is the answer here? In the moonlight. And what is this question about? Question is about article. It is not a, it should be the moonlight. And this is a standard prepositional phrase. Do remember that. Question number 4. And make a note how many you're getting right, how many you're not getting right. At the fag end of the session, you can tell the score. Then we understand your standards. Based on that, I can provide more information. I can do it in the right way. Question number 4, where is the error? I went there with a view to survey the entire procedure. With a view of, no, that is not correct. Who is this? Oh, Nagamaleshwari, again, she has got it right. That is a bit difficult. I really appreciate. Who else says that? Private working aspirant and Pooja Singh also. No, here, Prithvi Raja. Very good. I went there with a view to. Now we have to focus on with a view to. That is one unit. It means with the hope. And this particular expression always takes the verb in the ing form. That is a noun, gerund. You cannot say survey. It should be surveying. So what is the correct expression? Survey is not correct. Surveying. Question is about a verb form. Listen very carefully. Question is about a verb form. Now here what happens with a view to. Generally students to means they think the verb should be in the basic form. Not always. English has rules, English has exceptions. You have to memorize. If you ask me, sir, how do we remember? Certain, not all, not too many. You have to remember, you have to memorize, allot some time. With a view to do what? Surveying. So here you have to use the verb in the ing form. This is a tough one, not easy. I'm glad a few students have got it right. Now, question number 5. He was present in the court to give witness. Yes, sometimes we do have to plus verb ing form based on the preposition, based on the pattern. Gerund, yes, noun in the, who is this? Falyaz or Fayaz. Okay, very good. That's right. Perfect. Now, where is the error? Question number 5. Present, provide witness or provide witness, not provide witness. No. He was present in the court to give what? Witness is a person. To give witness, that is not right. What is the right word here? Evidence. Aman has got it right. Anyone else? Nagamaleshwari. Here, it is not witness, it is evidence. He was present in the court to give evidence or to present evidence, or to provide evidence. What is the right word? Witness a person, he is a witness, eyewitness. But here you want to give something. Give what? Evidence, some sort of evidence. So this is the right word, evidence, to give or to present or to provide. And question is about inappropriate word. What is it about? Inappropriate word. Witness is not the right word. Evidence is the right word. Now let us go to question number 6. An easy one, should not be that difficult. He laughed on her as she fell off the tree. Fell off the tree. Why not presented? No, previous question. Who is this? Ravi Teja. He was present in the court to present. You cannot say presented. In the court, to present something, to provide something, to give something. Let us go to question number 6. Where is the error? Contextual awareness plays a key role. Absolutely right, Prithvi Raja. Now tell me, where is the error? An easy one, question number 6. I see Prithvi Raja has answered, and Shubham also, Ravi Teja, and Govinda. A lot of students, I'm sorry if I missed a few names. He laughed at her, laughed at someone. So this goes with prepositional combination. What is the answer? Laughed at. On is not correct. Laugh at someone. You laugh at someone. That's not a good thing. And the question is about prepositional combination. Laugh at. I'll tell you something interesting. Quite often students ask me, sir, they ask questions related to prepositional combinations in the exam, how to learn. And I'm not trying to scare you people. There's only to tell you the facts and figures. Prepositional combinations, thousands, they are thousands in number. You'll be surprised and shocked to know the Oxford University Press, it has published two books, volume 1, volume 2, about prepositional combinations. Volume 1, 15,000. Volume 2, 15,000. Now, what is the total number? Prepositional combinations, an important topic from exam point of view, 30,000. Now, you may wonder, you may ask, sir, do we have to learn all those? Answer, no. But very important topic. They ask quite open questions. Then, how to master prepositional combinations? There are two sources. One, you take a book, standard grammar book. There you come across prepositional combinations, about 100 or 200. Learn and try to remember. One option one. I don't recommend that. Why? You are trying to learn in isolation. List of prepositional combinations. You look at the combinations, you try to memorize. You may remember for some time. After some time, you may forget. There's a possibility. Then, what is the right way to learn? This is the reason why I tell students, please read the Hindu paper editorials. When you read the Hindu paper, when you read the editorials, what happens? You get exposed to a lot of prepositional combinations. In the exam, I repeat, in the exam, same combinations are given. If you remember those, that's enough. And that also, you don't have to put a lot of effort. You read, you come across the same combinations. For example, access to power, access to authority, access to money, access to resources. Same thing gets repeated in the exam. When you see a question, access, next second the preposition to pops up. You don't even see the options, you know the answer. You can reach that stage provided you read the Hindu regularly. So, laughed at, what is the question about? Prepositional combination. Now, let us go to question number 7. What is this? G. Oh, Ram Ram Sir Ji. Sir Ji. Oh, fine. Sanket, thank you very much. Good evening. Dheeraj also a little late, but no problem. I'm glad you are there. Better late than never. Please read question number 7. Tell me where the error is. People who live on glass houses should not throw stones at others. An easy one. People who live not on in glass houses should not throw stones at others. I see a lot of students have answered within no time. So, what is the correct expression? People who live in glass houses. Question is about prepositional combination. Again, based on prepositional combination. Now let us go to seldom late. Xavier says, please answer question number 8. Where is the error? Many of these questions for a lot of students may be easy, but here it is a heterogeneous group. We have to strike a balance. And at the fag end of the session, we'll see the score. 15 plus, you're very good. Between 10 and 15, good enough. And let's say between 5 and 10, you have to improve, nothing to worry. Now let us go to the boy which money was lost felt sorry. Whose money? Again, a lot of students have got it right. As I said, an easy question. It is not which money, whose money. What is the word whose? It is a relative pronoun. The question is about relative pronoun. What are relative pronouns? Who, which, that, whose. And a lot of rules are there I'll be teaching later. When it comes to relative pronouns, an important topic, a lot of rules are there and I'll be teaching later. Now let us go to question number, what is the question number 9? This is a tough one. Read very carefully. Whose book is this? Whose pen is this? Whose money is that? Yes, Nagamaleshwari. Who, which, that, whose, all these relative pronouns. A lot of students have got it right. Very good. Now let us go to question number 9. Mind you guys, it's not an easy one, but Aman has got it right. A bit surprising. A pleasant surprise though. Let others also respond. Pooja Singh says third option. Nothing wrong with the third option. Absolutely no problem. Ishwar says has arrived. Vamsi also says has arrived. Kalyan says has arrived. Perfect. The King Juan Carlos of Spain arrived in London today. What is the clue for you here? I always tell students I'm going to come up with a video how to spot the errors. And one of the tips I usually give, when you read a sentence, try to look for the time phrase. Time phrases are very useful to spot the errors. What is a time phrase here or adverb of time? Today. Today is not complete, it is incomplete. There is one rule that goes with present perfect tense. What is that? When I teach usually present perfect, I teach 5 uses. One of the uses we use, please listen very carefully. We use present perfect tense with adverbs of time that indicate an incomplete time period. Any adverb of time that indicates incomplete time period, we should not use past tense, we should use present perfect. What are the examples? Today, incomplete. This week, incomplete. This month, this year, this season. When you see these words, do remember you should not use past tense, you should use present perfect. One example, I saw the manager today. Wrong. Have seen the manager today. What is the reason? Today is incomplete. She wrote 2 books this year. Wrong. She has written 2 books this year. Why? This year is not complete. So here it is. Please give some time, Sumant. Regarding PDF, you guys have to give me 2 days time or 2 or 3 days. Then I will confirm. I'll try to give, but wait for some time. So the correct expression, the king Juan Carlos of Spain has arrived. Again, which tense is this? Present perfect. Why should we use present perfect? Today, the time is incomplete. Question is about present perfect tense. Now let us go to question number 10. Please go to question number 10. Uh, Try to answer. Morning 7 a.m., the Hindu editorial analysis. Every morning, live session. There you learn a lot of words that is complementary. This and one more session I'm going to start on an academy platform, free classes, and the Hindu, all the three complementary to one another. Yes, of course. Every morning I take at 7. That's what I was talking about. Shubham. Every morning 7. The name of the channel Murthy's. There I take the Hindu editorial analysis. 7 live session. Let us see, to the party. A lot of students have got it right. There is an error. My friend has invited me for the party. That is not correct. To the party. Invited to the party. Invite to the venue. Invite to the party. So question is about preposition again. Prepositions not that easy. You have to read, expose yourself to the language. Only then you can understand. Now please go to question number 11. My father, now you get five questions. Those who attended the Hindu editorial session this morning, they can respond immediately. Please don't respond. Wait, let others respond. Already have seen these questions, five questions continuously. Here, my father gave me a pair of binocular on my birthday. That is not correct. Some nouns are always in the plural form. They take a plural verb. Based on that, it is not binocular. It should be a pair of binoculars. Question is about nouns. Plural nouns. Examples: scissors, spectacles, trousers, shorts, tights, binoculars. All these, it should be in the plural form. They should be in plural form. They always take a plural verb. Now, next one also already you have answered. Some students, please don't respond. Let others respond. There would have been a disaster, and for your prompt action. That's what I said, Prithvi Raja. Continuously five questions I gave this morning in the Hindu editorial analysis. Those who have already answered, please don't respond. Give a chance to others. Let them answer. Free text says but, and Xavier says third option. Sirisha says but, and who is this? Rishita also but. Pridhiraja, a lot of students after that, Nagamaleshwari, all these, and Vishnuvardhan, that is absolutely right. Here we cannot use a conjunction and, it should be but. There would have been a disaster but for your prompt action. What does it mean? It means there would have been a disaster. There was a possibility to have a disaster, but it did not happen. There was a possibility, did not happen. Why didn't it happen? Because of your prompt action. For that, how do we express the same idea in English? I would have suffered a lot, but for your help. I will give another example. I would have suffered a lot, but for your help, but for your timely help. That means what? There was a possibility for me to suffer a lot, but that did not happen. Why didn't it happen? Because of someone's timely help. This, if you expose yourself to the language, you can answer. Otherwise, practically impossible to answer a question like this. Nothing to worry. So let us go to the answer, but for your prompt action. Question is about standard expression and also conjunction. It is about conjunction. And is not correct. It should be but. Now let us go to question number 13. Question number 13. As a boy, Suresh is very obedient, polite, there should have been a comma, and hardworking. But as a student, he is always inattentive in study. Yes, pretext says ignore, just ignore. See, this platform, we have the positive vibes. I appreciate all these youngsters, the learners. You are here, and some of them, they are employees. At the end of the day, they come here to get enriched. That spirit should be appreciated. And now and then we come across people like this. You don't have to consider, just ignore. Study is not correct. Studies is correct. Answer: studies. Question is about word form. In competitive exams, quite often they ask questions related to word forms. Now, question number 14, please read out or inside. Who is this? Vijay. Initially, you don't have to read out, read aloud. First, you read and try to understand. And maybe a week or 2 weeks. After that, if you want to improve your pronunciation, then read out aloud, read out loud. And that will, you understand whether you can say the words or not. That will help in pronunciation. Otherwise, it is not required. There is an error. Who is this? Ramadevi says no error, and Rishita also says no error. There is an error. What is it? I'm sorry. College girls seldom wear saris these days. Do they? Yes, there is no error. Very good. I appreciate. And here, why there is no error? What is a clue? The word seldom. Now listen very carefully. Already those who attended in the morning, they know the rule. What is the rule? This question goes with question tags. When there is a negative word in the sentence, generally the sentence is in affirmative form. The question tag we should in the question tag we should use the word not. She is a student, isn't she? She comes every day, doesn't she? So affirmative question tag, the word not should be there. But if in the sentence, there's a negative word. In the question tag, we should not use the word not. Now, what if you ask me, sir, what is the negative word in this sentence? The word seldom, never, seldom, hardly, scarcely, barely, all these are negative words. If you see a negative word in the sentence, you should not use the word not in the question tag. Based on that, college girls seldom wear saris these days. Negative word. And don't they, not correct. Do they? We should not say don't they. We should not use the word not. Now, answer no error. Question is about question tags. Let us go to question number 15. This is the last one. After that, new questions. Others can participate. In studies, at studies, generally when we talk about in and at, let us take English. He is good at English. We should not say he's good in English. That's a common error. He is good at English. So should we read the Hindu newspaper, or is it enough to watch and enrich from the Hindu editorial analysis by you, sir? See, generally what happens if you're hard pressed for time means no time. Watch the session, you will get enriched a lot. No second thoughts about that. But you watch the session 60 minutes, then you allot 30 minutes for headlines and any other important editorial, maximum 1.5 hours if you have time. If you don't have a lot of time, watch the session, that is enough. Because there I touch vocabulary, comprehension, grammar, a lot of practice questions based on exam topics, more than enough. More than enough. But generally speaking, allot 30 minutes for the newspaper. Read the headlines, look at the editorial. That will help in the long run. Here, what is the answer? If they had known, they were knowing is not correct. If the moment you see the word if, think of conditionals. And here the main clause would not plus have plus verb past participle. That means it is in past conditional. So what are the two tenses, the patterns? If clause we should use past perfect. Main clause would have plus verb past participle. Based on that, it is not they were knowing. It should be if they had known they would not have decided to picnic there. And here there's one more pattern. What is it? Here, if you drop the word if, the past perfect should be in interrogative. Now listen very carefully. If they had known one pattern, I will drop the word if. Then past perfect should be in interrogative. Had they known? If they had known, that is correct. Had they known, that is also correct. Either way, correct. Now let us go to these are new questions now. Aman and others, those who participated, those who were there this morning, now you can have a look at the questions and respond immediately. Sir, cannot concentrate on topic by inside reading. Then read out. Try different things. See, there are no hard and fast rules when it comes to learning. Everyone is different. Some people prefer during the day, some people prefer during the night, nocturnal, diurnal. Some people prefer they want to be alone while reading. Some people they're not bothered. Anywhere, anytime, they focus and read. Find out what is easy for you, stick to that. Another baffling change, baffled, perplexed, confused, that's an important word. And that I noticed in him nowadays is that he avoids speaking to me. He avoids speaking to me, there is no error. Nothing wrong with that part. He is avoiding, no. Figure out your own method. That's right. Who is this? Kiran Kumar. Figure out, make out, find out. Here, another baffling change that I noticed is not correct. The verb cannot be in the past. Another baffling change that I notice in him nowadays. Notice, the verb should be in the present. So, what is the answer? It is notice in him, not noticed. Question is about a verb form. We cannot use a verb in the past form, it should be in the present. Now, let us go to question number 17. Unless he doesn't apologize, he should not be allowed to stay with us. See, sometimes what happens, yes, darling Sinu, usually I tell students when you see the phrases like now, right now, at the moment, nowadays, these days, then we should use present continuous tense. I'll give an example. I usually teach English. I usually teach English, but these days I'm teaching French. These days, I have to use present continuous. But there are exceptions. This is an exception. Always keep in mind exceptions. And how do you know the exceptions? You have to expose yourself to the language. Now, what is the answer? Unless he apologizes, that is right. Here, unless is a negative word. We cannot use two negative expressions in the same clause. Unless he doesn't apologize, that is one clause. He should not be allowed to stay with us, second clause. In the same clause, we cannot have two negative expressions. That is known as double negative. So, what is the correct answer? A lot of students have got it right. Very good. Unless he apologizes. Unless he apologizes, that is correct. And we should not say unless he doesn't apologize. That is not correct. Unless he apologizes. Question is about double negative. Go to question number 18. Unless talks about a condition. Until talks about time. Don't get confused between these two. Unless, until. Till, until, they talk about time. Unless talks about a condition, a state. Now let us go to question number 18. Some of the richest business magnates live in Mumbai. Yes, Rishita says a lot of students have got it right within no time. Some, that talks about plural. The noun should be in the plural form. Some students, we don't say some student. Some student, that is also acceptable. But here the context talks about plural noun. Some of the richest business magnates live in Mumbai. Absolutely right. And question is about a noun. Answer business magnates. The noun should be in the plural form. Question is about nouns. Business magnate, a very rich person. We also use the word tycoon. Tycoon, tycoon. He is a business tycoon, means very rich person. Now let us go to question number 19. Arvind and myself saw the picture yesterday. Yes, Kiran, tycoon. That's what I've just said. Please go to question number 19. There's a common error. A lot of people make this mistake. Where is the error? Arvind and myself saw the picture yesterday. 19:1. Nothing wrong with the first part. There is an error in the. Oh, no one has got it right. No, no, no. No, that is not correct. I'm a bit surprised. There is an error in the second part. What is it? Bhavana has got it right. Kumar also says second part. Arvind and I. We should not use a reflexive pronoun here or an emphatic pronoun. That's a common error. People say, who did this work? Myself. Who went there? Myself. No. If you have to emphasize, only then you have to use myself, herself, himself. But here we should use the personal pronoun, not the reflexive pronoun or emphatic pronoun. So, what is the correct expression? Arvind and I. You cannot say me. That is again a common error. A lot of people say, I will tell about the common errors over here. First, you have to remember when you talk about a person, could be your friend, could be your colleague, and yourself, you have to use that person first and the pronoun in the second position. Arvind and I. You cannot say I and Arvind, that is wrong. Arvind and I. You cannot say Arvind and me, that is again wrong. You have to use a personal pronoun in the subject form. So, what is this about? This is not option one, it is option two. Arvind and I. Oh, you mean to say I? Okay, okay, I got it. Then you're right. Perfect. It is Arvind and I. Question is about pronoun, to be very specific, personal pronoun. Now I got it. Be happy. Yes, yes. So the last question, and we are going to review all the questions. I will tell you how to remember. The last three slides are very useful. Subjective, nominative, nominative, accusative. In the subject position, you have to use a subject form. That is right. You will come to my party tomorrow, isn't it? And Aman has responded, right answer. Here, this sentence is in future tense. What is a helping verb? Will. Then you have to use the same helping verb in the question tag. Will plus not. What is it? Won't. So, what is the right question tag? Won't you? Answer, you will come to my party tomorrow, won't you? This question is about question tags. Now listen very carefully. In our country, surprisingly, those who are otherwise good at English also, they make mistakes when it comes to question tags. For every tense they say, isn't it? Isn't it? She came yesterday, isn't it? You come every day, isn't it? He will come tomorrow, isn't it? Not correct. Every tense takes a different question tag. She came yesterday, didn't she? She comes every day, doesn't she? She will come tomorrow, won't she? She has already come, hasn't she? Based on the tense, the question tag changes. So that is very important. And now let us have a look at the 20 questions. What are they about? And what is important, what is not important? Analysis. This is very useful. The first question, inappropriate word. Wonder, wonder. Inappropriate words you cannot guess. So unpredictable. Any word they can take, they can form a question, they can give. So not easy, and you cannot spend time on keeping that in mind. Second question related to open conditional. Conditionals, when we teach grammar, oh, 2020, who is this? Nagamaleshwari. That's wonderful, highly appreciable. 1420, good, good enough. I will see the scores. Please listen to me. Open conditional, topic conditionals, you have to answer that. Easy to answer. Prepositional phrase, not easy to answer. Thousands of phrases are there, so it is in red. Green, grammar based, you can answer. And black, unpredictable, not in your hands. Please give me 2 minutes. Who is this? I will tell you, Vijay Kumar. Please wait. Thank you very much. Who is this? Ankush Kumar. Thanks for that. Now, prepositional phrases, very difficult. Verb forms, again, not easy. I tell students there are two levels of learning across the country. When students come across words, new words, please listen very carefully. The 6 minutes I'm going to spend very useful. Whenever a particular student or a particular candidate comes across a new word, meaning doesn't he or she doesn't know the meaning, they refer the dictionary, they find out the meaning. They know how to find out the meaning, then they close the dictionary. Only two steps: locate, find the meaning, close the dictionary. That is of no use from the exam point of view. And you have to know the part of speech, you have to know the meaning, and you have to see the examples. Level 1. But exam point of view, there is something called level 2. What is that? Every word, or any word for that matter, first you have to learn the part of speech, very important. Then comes the meaning, then the example. Level 1. Level 2, same word, you have to learn the word forms, word combinations or collocations. and word usage. The last three go with level 2. Many students are not aware of this. What is the reason? School level, they don't teach. And because of that, they are not aware, first of all, at the outset. And level 2 is a deciding factor when it comes to competitive exams. Many students know the meaning, the part of speech, examples. Only a few know the word forms, word combinations, and word usage. Then you may ask, so how do we know the last three? You have to read a lot. When you read a lot or deliberately, when you refer the dictionary, the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, you find all the word forms. Today, you don't have to buy a dictionary. The apps are there. You can see the word forms and the noun form, verb form, adjective form, adverb form. You have to know. For example, let me give an example silence. Which part of speech is it? Silence could be a noun, it could be a verb. I'll give two examples. I want silence. Here it is a noun. I silenced all the students. Here it is a verb. Then silent, adjective form. Silent killer, adjective. Silently, adverb. See the four forms. Though three forms, you have they go with four parts of speech. This awareness is very important. Word forms, word combinations. Word combinations very important from competitive exams point of view. What is the reason? Where do they help? When it comes to close test, when it comes to questions, meanings of words from the passage, and also when it comes to vocabulary based questions, word combinations are very important. Based on the word combinations, within no time you can get the correct option. Again comes the question, so how do we become good at word forms, word combinations, word usage? Read a lot, expose yourself to the language, and don't try to take an isolated approach when it comes to vocabulary. That will not help in the long run. You have to read, expose yourself to the language, understand how the words are used, then you're ready for the exam. Then, inappropriate word, unpredictable, prepositional combinations, difficult, and prepositional phrases also difficult. One question relative pronoun, green, grammar related, easy to answer, provided you remember the rules. Present perfect tense, tense is related, easy to answer, so green. And preposition, prepositions again not easy, it's an ocean, thousands of combinations. But if you read regularly the newspapers, easy to answer. Noun, that one a tough one. Conjunction, a tough one. Exposure to the language required to answer those questions. And word forms again not easy. You have to know. By reading a lot, you will come to know. And question tags easy. Past conditional easy. Present tense easy. Double negative easy. Again, noun one question not easy. Pronouns easy. Question tags easy. Thank you very much. Those who have enjoyed, yes. Norman Lewis, usually it goes with GRE and GMAT. Nothing wrong if you read. It is the number one book when it comes to how to enrich your word power. Norman Lewis. But generally, we tell students to read that. Those who want to take GRE, GMAT, those exams, that is very useful. Even for banks and SSC, Norman Lewis, How to Enrich Your Word Power, a very useful book. A very useful book. So, this is about today's session. Please give your feedback. The last three slides, analysis. Hope you have got enriched. Try to consolidate. That's what I tell students. Always, learning is important, the first step. Learning itself, you cannot remember. You have to do something. And what are you supposed to do? Learn at the outset, read, revise, and try to consolidate. That is very important. That's it. Thank you very much. And someone wanted me to spend a few minutes on how to remember tenses. Tenses, generally, what happens? Tenses, usually, I tell students the key to English grammar. Tenses are the key to English grammar. If you master tenses, you can master English language, English grammar. How to learn tenses? Based on the time phrases, based on the sentence patterns. When I teach tenses, I have a particular approach I have been using for the last 25 years. First, you learn the sentence pattern, then you learn the rules, then you learn the uses. If you follow this approach, easy to learn, remember, and recollect. But what is important when it comes to tenses? Tenses take specific time phrases. Time phrases you have to memorize, you have to remember. And I'll give more information in the next session. Now it is 8:30. I would like to wind up the session. Good night to all of you. Thanks for being with me till 8:30.